the perspective about money that will make you rich. I'll be back in 20 seconds to tell you what it is and how to make it work for you. So stick around. Okay, welcome gamers to training day 4 of our season here, our first season together in the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. My name, of course, is Chris White. I am the game master, and my role here is to disrupt your thinking in order to empower you to live outside your phone booth so that you can share your extraordinary with the world. Now, you may be wondering, if you're here with us for the first time today, what the heck does living outside your phone booth have to do with anything? Yeah, it's a great question. But just ask yourself this question. What would have happened had Superman never gotten out of the phone booth? Exactly. Nothing would have happened. And that's why living outside your phone booth every day is priority number 1. So gamers, if you're ready, then I'm ready. Game on. All right, gamers. So today I want to talk to you about the perspective about money that will make you rich. And here's the perspective. You got to stop letting money lead your thinking. Okay, so let me ask you this question. What's your number 1 focus when it comes to building your business? You know, for years, my number 1 focus was to make money. That's all I focused on. I want to make money, I want to make money, I want to make money. And guess what I struggled to do? I struggled to make money. So here's your big takeaway from today's training. Money doesn't lead, money follows value. Okay, so what you're going to hear me talk about a lot is that the most effective way to create big breakthroughs in your business is to change your thinking. Okay, now what most people do is they focus on changing their actions, or they focus on doing more actions. Here's what I want you to understand. Actions will at best create incremental change. And most often, actions will just leave you stuck in a perpetual cycle of what I call activity frustration. Okay, now what rich and successful entrepreneurs do is they focus on changing their thinking, because the rich know when you change your thinking, your actions will come into alignment with your new thinking. Very powerful if you really pause to get that. Okay, so one of the most frequently asked questions I get coaching clients all over the world is, Chris, how do I make money on the internet? Okay, remember, we want to focus on our thinking first. So the question is, how do I make money on the internet? Here's my answer to that question. You are asking the wrong question. That's my answer. When someone says, how do I make money on the internet? The answer is, you are asking the wrong question. How do I make money on the internet is the wrong question. The right question is, how do I create and position value on the internet? Let me say that again. If you're someone who's running with us here inside the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it, and either don't have a product, you don't have a business, or you're in a business, you're frustrated, you're struggling, chances are you're asking the wrong questions in your business. And here's a right question to ask. How do I create and position value on the internet? Now, why is this the right question? Because money doesn't lead, money follows value. Let me tell you a story. So there's a guy by the name of Dan Gilberts. You may have heard of him. He's a billionaire. He's a real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur. He's owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay. And Dan Gilberts' vision is to revitalize Detroit. Now, I'm very familiar with Detroit. I used to live in Detroit. My parents lived in Detroit for a couple decades. Okay. And my dad was working at Ford Motor Company. Okay. So Dan Gilbert's vision is to revitalize Detroit. If you've ever been to Detroit, then you understand why that is a big vision. Okay, so what was Dan Gilbert's goal? What was his focus? It wasn't to buy the most amount of real estate. Remember, he's a real estate investor, a billionaire. His goal wasn't to buy the most amount of real estate. It wasn't to flip the most amount of real estate so that he could make the most amount of money. Okay, he wasn't buying real estate to make money. Now, was he buying real estate to make money? Yes, but that's not really why he was in the real estate game. That wasn't his vision. His vision, remember, was to revitalize Detroit. So to that end, he decided to invest in the most amount of real estate so that he could bring more companies to Detroit, which is going to make the city great again, and then the money will follow. Very important you get that. The vision was to revitalize Detroit. That was his vision. So then he started asking questions. How can I do that? Well, what if, surely one of his questions was, what if I go out and I buy up a bunch of real estate and then I make it very attractive for companies to come into Detroit? Do you see the difference between going in with make money, make money, make money versus going in with revitalize Detroit? Revitalize Detroit. How do I do that? You focus on the vision, not the money, the vision, and the money will follow. Okay, so what can we learn from Dan Gilberts' story? 3 key things. Again, number 1, you got to have a vision. The vision drives everything. Where there is no vision, the people will perish. Number 1. Number 2, value is born from a heart-centered place of desiring significance and of desiring the opportunity to create impact. Okay, this is where value is born, from a heart-centered place. Okay, money does not and will never equal lasting significance. Money can buy you moments of significance, but those moments will always be shallow and fleeting. Okay. Number 3, the thing that we can learn is that Dan Gilbert is a passionate guy when it comes to revitalizing Detroit. He's passionate. Money will never be enough to stoke your passion. Why do you need passion? Passion is the anchor. It's the source, the power source that's going to help you face and overcome the adversity that you're going to experience on this 90-day run together. We're at a full sprint right now. We're at full tilt. We get together every morning to level up so we can run at full tilt. If you're trying to run at full tilt without a vision dialed in that you should have in your playbook, I promise you, you will not be able to achieve extraordinary levels of performance over the next 90 days. It's not possible. It's not going to happen. Okay? Because money will never be enough to stoke your passion. And without passion, you're leaving yourself vulnerable. Highly vulnerable in the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship that we're playing together. Okay, this is a full contact sport. It's like going out there and playing NFL football without a helmet on, and you're the running back. Okay, you need to have the vision. So ask yourself, not how can I make a lot of money? Okay, that puts money in the leadership position of your mind. Ask, what can I do for, and then fill in the blank. What can I do for, fill in the blank. Let's take the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it, for example. This was created because I sat down and for the last, several years, I've been coaching clients all over the world, and I've just had this gnawing frustration inside of me that everyone I talk to seemingly doesn't know how to execute. And the challenges that people are facing in their business are execution challenges. Things that we're talking about here inside the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. Execution challenges. And so I'm asking myself, what can I do for you as an entrepreneur who's trying to figure all this stuff out? How can I help you execute like an extraordinary performer executes? And that's where the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship was born from. It wasn't born from, I want to go make a bunch of money, and then all of a sudden that popped into my head. No, it was born from a question of how do I create value in the marketplace? You have to think of something bigger than just money, is the key point, okay? We were all wired to create impact and to leave a legacy. This is why this is important. One thing that we all share in common as human beings is the desire to create impact and leave a legacy. We all have that desire. Entrepreneurs tend to be more willing to exercise that desire by breaking away from the mold to go, out onto the wild frontier of entrepreneurship and brave the dragons and face the monsters, right? But we were all wired to create impact and to leave a legacy. And as I just said, money will never by itself get you in that place of significance. Okay, we were not wired to make money, okay? Money is just the means to get to the impact. Now that being said, money is a critical component that empowers us to create the impact and leave the legacy that we want to leave so we have to respect its purpose and power in our story. I respect money very highly. I want to make a ton of money, okay? As entrepreneurs, we aim to make a lot of money. But why? So that we can impact a lot of people, right? So we need to keep money front and center on the radar, but we need to let the value conversation lead the way. Okay, so the second biggest question that I get is, what's the best and fastest way to go about creating value for the marketplace, right? If I get your mind around the right question to be asking, the next most logical question is, okay, makes sense. What's the best and fastest way to go about creating value for the marketplace? Let me give you 4 tips on this. Number 1, the fastest way is to align yourself with value creators. This is what I've done my entire entrepreneurial journey, which has allowed me to go from one big breakthrough to the next big breakthrough in a very short amount of time. It's because I've aligned with value creators, because I understand, as I hope you understand, 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness. There's not a single person that's ever walked the planet that did anything extraordinary by themselves. And what it's important for you to understand, my friend, is you're not going to be the exception to that. 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness. Align yourself with value creators. Okay, number 2, become extraordinary at execution, like you're doing here inside the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. So I want to applaud you. I want to congratulate you for making a very wise entrepreneurial decision for your business and for the impact that you're going to be creating out in the world, and for the money that's going to follow that impact. Okay, number 3, you want to look for the big, hairy problem. Look for the big, hairy problem in the marketplace. A lot of times it's a problem that you're facing in your life. Look for the big, hairy problem and find or create a product that provides transformational value. That word transformational is very, very important. There's a lot of good products out in the marketplace. You may be selling a good product and you may be struggling and frustrated in your business. If that's true, chances are you're not selling a transformational product. That's like next level thinking. When you go from a great product to a transformational product. Let me give you an example. I sell a product that helps you get your mortgage from 30 years to 5 years. Did you even know that was possible? That you can get your mortgage from 30 years to 5 years? Most people don't know that's possible. That's transformational value. Okay, teaching you how to execute, going back to the example of the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. This is transformational value, because if you can't develop the execution muscle in your business, then you're always going to be frustrated. You're never going to reach extraordinary levels of performance in your business, ever. Okay. Tip number 4, this one's important. You got to become ruthless. Ruthless with your value filter. Ruthless. Let me give you an example of thinking when it comes to value. Let me give you an example of this, okay? So, and my example comes from network marketing, which is an industry I've been involved in. Here's an example. People will say to me, Chris, I'm struggling in my business. I don't understand what it is. My products are amazing, but nobody is buying them, and I'm not making any money. And then I say, well, what's your biggest challenge? And they'll say, I can't seem to recruit anyone to help me build the business. Do you see the misalignment with that thinking? Remember I said everything is about thinking? Everything comes down to thinking. You're going to have the biggest breakthroughs in your thinking. So these clients of mine will say, my products are amazing. They're amazing, but I don't know what it is. Like, nobody's buying them. I can't make any money. And then I say, what's your biggest challenge? Well, I can't seem to recruit anyone. Do you see the disconnect? You're talking about selling a product to a customer, but then you're telling me your biggest challenge is recruiting somebody to build a business. Those are 2 different things. Those are 2 different things. The reason the products aren't selling in the marketplace is because they're not transformational, perhaps. It's because they're overpriced, perhaps. It's because they're just not good products. Your biggest challenge, if your focus is on the product, your biggest challenge isn't recruiting people. That's not your biggest challenge. Your biggest challenge is the customer doesn't see the value proposition. Okay? I hope you really get that. So the point is, become ruthless. Become ruthless in your thinking. If that is filtering out what you're doing, you got to become ruthless for your sake, for the sake of your business. You're the CEO. Okay? It's your job to make your company profitable, and you got to become ruthless. Let me give you 3 execution steps on this. Number 1, these are things you can write down in your playbook. Who do you have in your life that can help you continue to grow your thinking about how to create value and what value truly is? A lot of people don't understand what value really is. So who do you have in your life that can help you with that? Number 2, if you are selling a product or considering a product to sell, does it provide transformational value? Again, you got to be ruthless. Number 3, if I don't currently have a transformational product to sell, what is the first and next step I'm going to take to get that problem solved? This is a question you're asking yourself, of course. If I don't currently have a transformational, underline, highlight, foot stomp, if I don't currently have a transformational product to sell, what is the first and next step I'm going to take to get that problem solved? You got to solve that problem, my friends. This needs to become a priority in your playbook as one of your execution steps. Okay, then number 4, let me give you one more action step. Right at the top of a page, okay, in the back of your playbook, I want you to write aha moments. Somewhere here in the back of the playbook. Aha moments. And then write down on that page, money doesn't lead, money follows value. Then write, big money follows transformational value. And then I want you to circle, highlight, underline, star, whatever you got to do, the words value in those statements. Okay. Remember, you can't violate the law of value and expect to make money. You can't violate the law of value. This is a non-negotiable law of success. Money doesn't lead, money follows value. The big money follows transformational value. And as the transformational value goes up, the difficulty of making money goes down. And on that note, gamers, that's my message for today. Hey, leave your comments below this video. If you've got someone out there that you know would get value from participating with us here inside of the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it, share this video with them. Tag them in the comments, share it with them, and tell them to come check us out. On that note, I will be back here tomorrow for the next day inside of our season. Hey, go out there today, be extraordinary in your thinking, and swing for the fences. My friends, you are extraordinary. I love you, not in a weird way. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. And remember, gamers, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. So get out of your phone booth and go share your extraordinary with the world.